windowless room, sturdy structure right there. You can see that middle of your home, lowest room. Wrap up in pillows and blankets and a helmet if you have one. You just want to protect yourself from any debris, or even if a tree does fall close to your home and those limbs kind of clip your home. Hopefully it doesn't do that, but you just want to be as safe as possible. So just make sure if you are in this tornado warned box, go ahead and be in your safe place. Right now that has crossed over into parts of Union County. You can see that center of rotation where we are tracking around that Union, Pontotoc, Lafayette County lines right there, but really along Highway 30, I think that is believed right there, just west and south of the West Union area. Continuing to see that right now. Moving into parts of Union County is where we are seeing that center of rotation. Continuing to track southwest right now at 40 miles per hour, and here in the next few minutes getting closer to areas like Dogtown, Thaxton. You can see Dogtown 658, Thaxton 703, Flatwood 710, Pontotoc 720 right now. And even though this is a tornado warning, some of those straight line winds doing damage as well. Pontotoc 720, Nixon 722, Goodford 734, Palmetto area 740 if it does hold together. That storm making its way towards West Main and Coley 743, Joyner 747, Nettleton area at 755. So here in about an hour, making its way to parts of southern Lee County, northern Monroe County. The storm continuing to track right now southeast at 40 miles per hour.
And power outage reports continue to come in on this one, Chelsea, as well. In just the last few minutes here, we've gotten a report of about 900. I'll see if we can pop it up there. 900 power outages just within Lafayette County alone. So Lafayette County, right in the middle of your screen there. Plenty of other power outages back. It looks like the Tate County as well, to the north and west. So statewide outages, about 4,000 outages at this time. So we expect the number of power outages to continue, especially with what could end up being, I mean, Chelsea, maybe more than anything, a straight line wind potential out of this. We could have 65, 70 mile per hour winds just on the straight line winds end alone, I think.
Yeah, and this storm right now still radar indicated. So those straight line winds, some winds gusting 60 to 70 miles per hour. Definitely could do some damage as well as with that rainfall, making roots really loose, making that ground softer, easier for it to knock things over. Matt.
Well, in just the I hit refresh, and just in the last couple of seconds here, you can see the number of power outages reported there in Lafayette County, according to poweroutages.us, up to 3,200. So that was a pretty quick increase there. So that tells you, I think, that you don't usually get that unless it's either a really significant tornado or a pretty significant wind threat. And I think that's what we're seeing evolve here along this this S shape. Is that damaging wind potential there continuing.
Yeah, and we've already seen reports of trees and power lines down with this. So definitely be in your safe place, or definitely be aware of when this is getting to your area. Right now, moving into parts of Pontotoc, Union County with some of those winds into Thaxton 704. So here in the next 4-ish minutes, Randolph 716, Pontotoc 721, Ecru around 722, Zion Community 732, Troy 738, West Main and Coley 746, and then getting closer to the Tupelo area around 752. Right now we have seen reports of trees down, power lines down, and reports of a lot of power outages with this storm as well. So continue to just stay aware, be in your safe place as this does continue to push through the area. Right now the tornado warning is only radar indicated, but still take this seriously as we have seen reports of that damage. And that tornado warning still is in effect until 7:15. And you can see that crossing over now into parts of Union, Pontotoc County right now. Still very gusty winds, 70, 75 mile per hour winds with this storm. Looking like it's kind of being some straight line winds kind of at the southern part of that into parts of Pontotoc County, Thaxton, Possum Trot, Springfield there. You can see there along 278, Highway 6. Getting a little bit of a track on that, moving in the next couple of minutes into the Hurricane Church 701, so right about now actually. Crossroads Church 703, Piney Grove Church 704, Turnpike Church 705, Shady Grove Church 706, Possum Trot 708. So that's just here in the next few minutes. Some very gusty winds that have caused a little bit of damage. A little bit longer down the line, you can see there Ingomar School 714, Pontotoc 716, Nixon 717, Pontotoc Community Hospital 717, Liberty School 721. Trace State Park at 7:24. Gusty winds right now that have caused damage back into parts of Lafayette County with power lines down, trees down, causing power outages. Right now, what was that about? Right about 3,000 power outages in Lafayette County right now. And that's probably went up since the last time we've refreshed it.
It's right now still says about that, about what do we have here? About 900 in Tate County behind this. We'll pop, I guess, that map back up. And Panola County with 777. So let's get that back onto your screen there. So those are the locations right now, and it takes at least minutes for these power outages to be reported. A lot of these come in digitally from the local providers, but we expect to have fairly widespread power outages. It's the reason why, especially where this storm is coming through, we recommend you make sure you have a way. We'll pick me down for just a second. I'll let you talk about this to stream us live because of that signal going out.
Yeah, make sure you have it on the news app, weather app, or of course at WTVA.com. You can watch our live stream if your power does go out. We have seen power outage with this. And with these storms, make sure you do have multiple ways to get alarms. You can see WTVA.com weather call. You can see the weather app, NOAA weather radio, code red alert, FEMA app. And make sure you do have those notifications on so you are getting those alerts.
And one other thing to think about, especially when this gets closer to Lee County, we do stream our live coverage on KZ 103 and 95.1 The Farm. So battery-powered radio is always a good alternate option there as well for some of those folks as this gets closer there. It does look like that circulation also here back toward the West Union School area does look a little bit more impressive than it did a few minutes ago. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm gonna flip it back and forth, Memphis and such, to see if we can get a better angle. I mean, that looks more impressive than it has in the last little bit here.
Yeah, and that's really right along West Union there. You can see Highway 30, County Road 51, County Road 14 right there. That center of circulation really right above West Union. This storm still moving about 40 miles per hour, moving out into parts of Union County is where we are really seeing a little bit more of this rotation.
They are going to go ahead, it looks like, and they are going to cancel the tornado warning simply because of the more limited rotation over the last little bit. But the emphasis still remains on the severe thunderstorm warning and what frankly is going to be fairly significant damage. The fact that you're talking about estimations, it could be in excess of 70-mile-per-hour winds. That's a real concern out of the whole storm. But we are still showing a little rotation there, so we don't want to completely sleep on that. Yeah,
and that's going to be into the Poolville 4 minutes area, Ingomar 13 minutes, New Albany 14 minutes, Union Hill around 19 minutes, moving into New Harmony 23 minutes, Parks 25 minutes, and Blue Springs around 26 minutes, East Union 28 minutes. And that's going to continue to move through parts of Union County right now. We still do have this severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 7:15, so about another 10 minutes. We have seen strong gusty winds with that. Matt kind of tracking that out for you right there, getting a few times here in the next few minutes into the Ecru area. 712, Pontotoc 712, moving into Buckhorn 718, Wallfield 726, Sherman 732, getting a little bit of a longer track moving into parts of Lee County. The Tupelo area 740, Tombigbee State Park 747, Richmond 752, Okolona 754. Strong gusty winds that have already caused damage back into parts of Lafayette County, trees down, power lines down, multiple power outages. So if your phone's not already plugged up, go ahead and plug your phone up because you may need it later, as we do see these storms continuing to track right now across Union and Pontotoc County. And that is also northern parts of Calhoun County in that severe thunderstorm box.
And I'm going to guess they're probably going to extend this severe thunderstorm warning here in the next couple of minutes, probably to include sections of probably Chickasaw, Lee, maybe Monroe, and the rest of Union. Well, there we are right there. So there's our new severe thunderstorm warning, and we'll check the speed that they are going on this. It looks like they're still going 60-mile-per-hour winds on a fairly decent straight line wind event there.
The WTVA.
All the alerts going off. By the way, if you want to send us your pictures, you can do that, weather@WTVA.com. Probably the easiest way is tweet us at WTVA Weather. Fastest way for us to get it on air.
And kind of getting a longer track now that they have extended that severe thunderstorm warning. You can see that moving into North Junction 710. So here in the next about 3 minutes, 711 Pontotoc, Buckhorn 718, Wallfield 723, Blue Springs 728, moving into Verona around 737, Joyner 740, Tupelo 741, I-22 and Veterans 748, moving into Oklahoma 753, Carolina 758, into Amory at 807. Continuing to see that does include parts of Lee County, Chickasaw County, Pontotoc and Union County right now, and that does go until 7:45. So right now this is just a severe thunderstorm warning with very gusty winds, straight line winds that have already caused damage in parts of Lafayette County. Power lines down, trees down, reports of power outages with this. So go ahead and make sure you do have multiple ways to get alerts, and you can also live stream us on the WTVA weather app if your power does go out and you're unable to watch us on your television. Right now where we are seeing those gusty winds, you can see they're near Possum Trot, Ecru here in the next few minutes, just about to see some more of those gusty winds. If you are driving in between really Thaxton or Pontotoc and Tupelo, they're along 278 and Highway 6. Very gusty winds. If you are driving or you know somebody that is driving on Highway 6 or 278 or really anywhere into eastern Pontotoc, Union counties, go ahead and give them a call or go ahead and stop. You don't need to be driving in this because you can see 70 mile per hour, 60 mile per hour wind gust with this is going to be very hazardous if you are in a vehicle driving down the road at this moment.
Current time is 7:08 p.m. Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon alongside our meteorologist Chelsea Brown. Previously, we had a tornado warning that was issued on this thunderstorm. You can see all the alerts coming off for the TV station here as those weather calls and such go out. But I think, Chelsea, and I want your opinion on this, what started off as what was a fairly substantial area of rotation looks more and more like a bow echo on this on the wider scale here the last little bit here. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Right here in Pontotoc County, how it's kind of that backward C shape is what we're kind of looking at. Kind of that wind pushing it from behind is really causing that shape right now. Gusty winds with this that could cause damage with this as well. So 60, 70 mile per hour wind gust getting into parts of Ecru 708, Pontotoc 711, Algoma 713, Trace State Park 719, Sherman area 724, Troy 729, Mount Vernon 732, ICC Tupelo 739, Skyline 742, Nettleton area 748, Richmond 750. So this does include parts of Pontotoc, Lee, Union County, Chickasaw County. Northern Chickasaw County is where is located in this severe thunderstorm warning box right now.
So a lot of safe place selfies coming in. This one, good idea. I mean, even though we're not talking about a tornado warning anymore, probably a pretty good idea if you are in the path of this, considering the straight line wind potential. It probably could have 65, 70 mile per hour winds to be thinking about getting to that safest place of your structure.
Yeah, and we have seen a lot of severe weather threats where it was just those straight line winds, and we have seen in the past few weeks, trees on homes, a lot of trees falling. And with how much rainfall is falling as well, that makes the ground a little bit softer and easier for these winds to kind of push it over. So if you are in this path right now, this is going to be a lot of straight line wind damage is what this severe thunderstorm warning box is issued for in parts of Pontotoc, Lee, northern Chickasaw County right now. This is not a tornado warning. This is just a severe thunderstorm warning, but with those gusty winds in Pontotoc County right now, go ahead and get in your safe place because just to be on the safer side if we do see any of those trees falling in your location. You know, I think that, and sometimes it's easy for us as meteorologists, myself included, to say just a severe thunderstorm warning. But in this case, I mean, radar estimations, and ignore, there's going to be some reds on here that don't code in right just because of a radar error. But the fact is that this is fairly widespread. Wind returns on here that could be up in excess of 70 miles per hour. I mean, so that's tornado-like damage, especially for maybe mobile homes oriented in a north-south direction. In this case, as this hits from the west, I mean, they'll rock, and we could have some issues there for sure. Yeah, definitely, Matt. And with these straight line winds, definitely still be in that safe place. Like Matt just said, it could cause damage to your homes, to trees in your yard. Right now, that's going to be around Ecru, just west of Pontotoc, really almost to Pontotoc, South Pontotoc High School there, just really about to get hit with some of those very gusty winds, some of those straight line winds right now. So if you are traveling really along Highway 15 in parts of Pontotoc County, 278, Highway 6, Trace State Park right now, go ahead and stop where you're at, or call if you know somebody that's going to be in those locations, because you don't really need to drive through this with these winds that could cause damage. Have you seen any more reports of hail, or was it just that one? That's
what I'm trying to go through right now and double check on our WTVA weather pictures from the app, just to see here. Most of what we're seeing, I do have a picture of hail from Oxford. I'm gonna see if I can get that video up. Give me just a moment here. Okay. Victor sending us this shot of the hailing there. So this was a few minutes ago as this kind of went through the Oxford area. A lot of times you get, like, I mean, those are pretty good size hailstones. I would say possibly up around 3/4 of an inch to maybe 1 inch in size there when that was in the Oxford area. And Oxford didn't exactly go through the middle of this, so that's kind of an indication that this could be still fairly potent for sure.
Yeah, and with that heavier rainfall and as that sun is setting, this is going to make it very difficult to drive as well. So visibility driving through these areas or driving closer towards the Pontotoc area is going to be very difficult right now. So just be careful. Pontotoc here just right about now making it into those gusty winds. 716 Algoma. Nixon 716, Trace State Park 722, Blue Springs 727, Sherman area around 731, Troy 732, ICC Belden area 736, into ICC Tupelo area 745, I-22 and Veterans 746. Matt.
Jonathan with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers and Spotters reporting a tree that's uprooted near his location. I'm going to hopefully get that picture up for you here in just a minute. And I'll get the exact crossroad on where he's at. Also, even though it's a little more embedded in there, there looks like near Ecru a little bit more rotation kind of on that kink in the last. I mean, it's the same spot that we've been watching there, I guess near Ingomar. So we have Brett with North Mississippi Storm Chasers and Spotters. We'll hear probably from him here in the next couple minutes. He's in shelter there.
Okay, and where he's talking about right here in between really Ecru and Ingomar really where that kink is, where we are trying to see a little bit of rotation right now. Ingomar 715, Nixon 715, Trace State Park 721, Algoma 722, Zion area 724, New Harmony around 725 right now. Really continuing to track this out. Most of it, what we are seeing right there in the parts of Pontotoc County, straight line winds, but really on the northern end of this, looking like it is trying to start to rotate. But right now we have seen reports of damage with this, trees down, power lines down, power outages as well. So with these storms, you do need to take caution. Maybe go ahead and be in your safe place. Seeing 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts back behind this, pushing this storm out into parts of Pontotoc County right now. So just make sure you are careful. And if you do know anybody that is driving this location, or you are about to drive in this location, maybe hold off for a few more minutes. You don't need to drive in 60, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and rainfall this heavy right now. Okay, so that report from Jonathan with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers and Spotters is going to come in from near Thaxton. Okay. So once he gets out of shelter, he'll get a better shot, but that would have been what came through, at about right at 7 p.m. So knocking over trees there, so now confirmation of what we kind of anticipated, that we were going to get some trees knocked over from this. So a reminder, of course, if you have to go to shelter and you're away from your television, WTVA weather app, where we are streaming live right now. Yep. Right now, this severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 7:45, and kind of getting a track on some of those straight line winds, making it to the Algoma area around 7:17, Chippewa 7:23, Zion area around 7:25. Wallfield 7:27, Troy area 7:32, Palmetto 7:35, moving closer towards West Main and Coley around 7:36. And there's our picture. Sorry, I'll move it to where we can still have the track numbers in there. Verona 7:40, Shannon 7:42, Joyner area around 7:45, 7:47 around the Tupelo area. And you said this picture is from Thaxton? Yeah, near the hurricane community out there near Thaxton. Jonathan with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers and Spotters, clearly in his shelter, so we'll have probably a more comprehensive view of that in a minute. But I'm going to pass that along to the National Weather Service. Reported for a tree there knocked down in Thaxton hurricane community. Yeah, and that doesn't look like a small tree. No, it does. It does not. So that doesn't look like it's caused any damage, thankfully, but
barely missed the cars, apparently. Thankfully.
Oh, okay. So, and for them, some of those places that have trees closer to your home or closer to your vehicles, definitely maybe need to be in your safe place with this. Could still be causing damage as it does make its way into parts of eastern Pontotoc County and then into parts of Lee and Chickasaw County further to the south.
A couple other pictures of that now. Let's see if they've gotten out. Well, it hit the lawnmower, of course. Always has to hit something. That's a pretty good sized tree there. I mean, it's not that it snapped it, it's that instead it knocked it over. I mean, you can see the root ball there where clearly I think some of the wet roots could have played a factor in this considering what we've had rainfall-wise recently.
Yeah.
And the strong winds, obviously.
Yeah. And that was around 7 o'clock when that was weird, 7 o'clock when it was making its way through the Thaxton area. Right now, it's continuing to push through parts of Pontotoc County. Right now, just east of Pontotoc, just west of the Furs area. You can see they're right along Highway 278, moving into parts of Lee County. Still that heavier rainfall, lots of lightning and thunder with this. You can see that backward C shape is what we are tracking out with those gusty winds, kind of pushing that from the back. Those gusty winds around 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts right now. Right now, continuing to track that through parts of Pontotoc County. Furs here in the next few minutes, getting hit by those gusty winds. Algoma right about now getting hit by those gusty winds. This is still moving right about 40 miles per hour, continuing to move south-southeast.
And there are other parts of this line that have, some wind with them. I think even just a wide shot here, it becomes pretty clear where we need to kind of focus. The strongest of the brightest greens there, partially because it's heading directly toward the radar, but partially because that's the strongest part. There's some kind of boundary that's on and keeping it strong.
Yep. Right now the time is 7:18. We are tracking a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect from the National Weather Service in Memphis until 7:45. This does include parts of Pontotoc County, Lee County, and then also northern Chickasaw County. But really tracking this out for you, moving about 40 miles per hour into the New Harmony area around 7:22, Wallfield 7:24, Sherman 7:29, ICC Belton area around 7:33, into the ICC Tupelo area around 7:44, I-22 and Veterans 7:41. Right now continuing to track also more of this storm a little bit down the line. You can see the National Weather Service just put out a new severe thunderstorm warning box, and that's going to include parts of Calhoun County, into parts of Yalobusha County is where that storm is really continuing to move right across those county lines. Getting a track on this one a little bit further to the south. Bruce 7:21, wind speed right there 60 miles per hour. That does go until 7:45. Pittsburgh 7:28 moving into your area. Young's 7:29. Big Creek area 7:36. Calhoun City 7:40. Vardaman 7:44. The Houston area around 7:50 into Atlanta 7:56, Woodland 8:03, Treblock around 8:06 right now, and that's going to be for that southern storm there in parts of Calhoun County is where that most of that tornado or severe thunderstorm warned box is right now. Kind of taking a wider look, we are seeing a severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 9 p.m. and that does include places in Monroe County over towards Yalobusha County and north for our WTVA coverage areas, and then also out into the Delta. This doesn't go until 9 o'clock tonight, and really what this watch means is, like, we do have a couple warnings. Ingredients are favorable for these storms to become on the strong to severe side right now. We have already seen damage of trees, power lines, power outages with this. So go ahead, charge your phones with this, as we have seen power outages before this makes it to you. In case your power does go out, we of course are still live. We live stream as well.
And speaking of the power outages you were talking about, there are about 3,400 folks there in Lafayette County that are without power at this point. Obviously, it is the hot spot in our area for power outages as this has come through. Still moving through Union and Pontotoc counties, and I'll go back here a second. We'll see if we can, unfortunately, pop that up there. So Pontotoc County, 26 customers there without power at this moment here. Of those that are monitored in Union County, only 17. So it is not as effective at producing those power outages, at least at this instant, as it was back when it was in Lafayette County.
Okay. Well, that's good, but definitely make sure you are still staying weather aware, even if it's not causing as many power outages right now. This is still needing to be taken serious, as it has caused tree damage within the last about 20-ish minutes. Right now, still some very strong gusty winds moving in 3 parts of Pontotoc County, getting close towards Zion, Chesterville area, really taking a track on that, continuing to push through. Furs around 723, Chesterville 725, Sherman area around 725, West Main and Coley 730, Tupelo High School 731, the Joyner area around 734, ICC Tupelo 738, Plantersville 740, moving towards Skyline 742, Mooreville 748, Richmond 749. This severe thunderstorm warning does include places in Pontotoc, Lee, and then also northern Chickasaw County as well. That does go until 7:45. So here about the next 22 to 23 minutes.
This will be Tupelo Tower Cam kind of looking back into it to kind of give us a visual of what we're seeing here. I mean, lots of low-hanging gray stuff. I don't see a pronounced shelf cloud, but it's not heading directly at us here, so that might be. And we're also, you know, 7:30 or so, so our visibility on what we're seeing here is going to get a little trickier. But of course, if you have to head to shelter, one of the ways which you could stay up to date, 95.1 The Farm currently carrying us right now there, so battery-powered radio gets you through there, and we're usually on KZ 103 as well, so ways to kind of stay on top of things.
And definitely make sure you have multiple ways to get those alerts throughout your evening hours, as we do continue to track out some severe storms right now moving into parts of Lee County is where that heaviest rainfall is. Into parts of Lee County just east of Verona and Tupelo. But where those gusty winds are still pushed back into Pontotoc County around Zion, Longview, up towards the Sherman areas where those gusty winds are. And we've seen 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts. You can see that backward C shape right there, kind of pushing that rainfall out, causing that backwards C shape, and that's those straight line winds what we are seeing. See that MDOT traffic camera? That's Highway 9 and what was it?
I-22.
I-22.
Yeah.
Very gusty winds with that. You can see the movement of that MDOT camera right there. Lightning, heavy rainfall with this.
Yeah, plenty of that, and visibility is slow. I mean, so obviously we're not seeing damage specifically on that camera. We're going to check a few others here in just a minute as we kind of check up towards Sherman and maybe get a shot into this. But it looks like the strongest part of this probably staying just a little south of where that MDOT cam location was, I would say.
And that was, what'd you say?
I-22 in Sherman.
I-22 in Sherman. Okay, so right about here.
I'm sorry, that was Blue Springs. That was Highway 9 Blue Springs, yeah.
Okay, so, okay. So right now, very gusty winds. You can see that MDOT traffic camera shaking with those winds, heavy rainfall, visibility low. And as that sun is continuing to set, visibility is really only going to get worse. If you are driving, just be careful or really stop. That'd be the better option right now. Tracking this out for you right now, getting towards the Enville area around 726, Sherman 729, Palmetto area 733, Tupelo High School 735, Mount Vernon area 737, Joyner 740, into ICC Tupelo 743, I-22 and Veterans 744, Lake Pingamingo 747, Tom Bigby State Park around 748 right now. Kind of looking at another MDOT traffic camera. This one.
This is
I-22.
Yeah, out there at the Blue Springs Toyota plant. If you think looking into the line, what you're looking into.
Yeah, definitely visibility is low right now. So if you know anybody that is going to be driving in this location here in the next few minutes, go ahead and give them a call. You can see some trucks right there with their flashers on, trying to really be them better, because you can see visibility almost nothing on the edge of that screen. Very windy conditions, heavy rainfall with this.
What's interesting is it looks like the two almost separate there. Am I crazy? Like
no.
What I'm looking at? That's weird.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's usually a good kind of weird, by the way. I should clarify. I'm going to pull up, I'm going to actually get you the Sherman camera. Give me just a second to pop that up for you there, because it should be just it's just kind of getting to Sherman there. And one good thing about this is a lot of times we'll talk about high-profile vehicles. We're worried about north-south roadways. So, for example, when we're looking here along I-22 there in Sherman, the good thing about this is that these folks are heading directly in it. Their vehicles are designed to go fast through fast winds because you drive 70+ miles per hour down the roadway. So that's one good thing that's with this is that it's adapted for I-22, but there are other roadways obviously we're more concerned with, especially north-south roadways. Eventually here, US 45, Natchez Trace Parkway. Trace is always dangerous in this situation. We need to give the time to the Trace down here because it's only a couple minutes away.
Yeah, of course, because it is covered in trees, and with all the rainfall that we are seeing, causing those roots to loosen up. So any of those trees really along the Trace, you can see they're just 5 miles away from the Natchez Trace right now, and that's going to be near that Pontotoc Lee County line. 6 minutes, 4 miles from the Natchez Trace right now into parts of Lee County, really just south of that Palmetto area. So just be careful if you are heading out. If you can, just really wait a few more minutes and let this storm pass through. That's really going to be the better option. Kind of looking out of our high-definition Tupelo tower camera right now, just seeing a lot of that rainfall, which this is facing west, southwest?
Yeah, southwest. So this would be looking, that's south. This will be looking down along the Trace, I think. Hold on. I've lost my bearings for a moment. Give me a second. You're right. That was looking more west.
Okay. A lot of heavy rainfall making its way closer to the area right now. Gusty winds with this, as we have seen on some of those MDOT traffic cameras, kind of that movement in the camera right there, trying to kind of pan this Tupelo tower camera around to see any of a better view.
I don't see anything in the clouds that's going to tell us anything. So, I mean, if it's not, we're not going to get a view out of this. It's one of those you want to probably stay in your sturdiest structure if you're at your house. There's really no reason to go outside and look at this. It's just going to look like some low-hanging clouds and clearly a lot of rainfall.
A lot of rainfall, strong gusty winds. Report of a tree down on Highway 336 in the Thaxton area. Is that going to be? That would be the same. I think that's the one with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers and Spotters.
Okay. I'm going to get you I-22 in McCall, looking back up northwest on I-22. Get you a shot there. That might actually be a slightly better viewpoint to kind of see what's going on there.
Yeah, just seeing some low-hanging cloud coverage. You can see a lot of that moisture kind of on the camera lens a little bit, and the movement in that as well. Very, very gusty conditions. So if you do not have to get out of your house or hit the roads right now, you definitely want to just go ahead and just make sure you are in your home, in your safe place. Matt.
So they're going to be putting out a new severe thunderstorm warning out on this one here in a minute. When as it gets closer, they're going to take it all the way to the Mississippi-Alabama state line. That's basically a confidence level on the potential for damaging winds to continue on this all the way to the state line. So I'll get you a storm track. That hasn't come out yet. That's something they're working on behind the scenes here.
That now includes Chickasaw, Itawamba, Lee, Monroe, Pontotoc, and Union County, where it's still at right now. Going all the way to that Mississippi-Alabama state line, kind of getting a longer track on that. Right now, getting closer towards Halka area around 729, so really right about now. Verona 736, Tupelo area 741, Okolona 746, Richmond 754, Wren area 759, Amory 802, Itawamba Agricultural High School 811, Tilden area 815, Aberdeen 817, Gatman area 826. Getting into Seligent, Alabama around 832. That's going to be right across that Alabama state line, really outside of that severe thunderstorm warned box. And that's what we're tracking right now. Right now, the time is now 7:30. Still tracking a severe thunderstorm warning right now. And that's in parts of Lee, Pontotoc, Chickasaw, Monroe, Itawamba counties, really all the way to that Mississippi-Alabama state line. Gusty winds with this. Have seen reports of tree damage with this, power line damage when it was back into parts of Oxford.
And I do have a new picture coming in with that in the last couple minutes here as my weather calls continue to come in. So this is shot Sandy with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers and Spotters. This is actually in Tate County, but a lot of times these reports come in a little after the fact. Looks like that. Probably a cedar tree kind of split there, certainly, from some of the strong winds with this.
Yeah, and the pictures that we have received, these trees have not been just smaller trees. Some of those, like this one, snapped, others completely uprooted. And from how much rainfall we have seen lately, that does make it easier for some of these trees to become uprooted and fall over and possibly cause some damage. Another storm that we are looking at right now, this severe thunderstorm warning does go until 7:45, and really getting a track on that. This right now is parts of Calhoun County, getting closer towards Pittsboro, 7:32, Calhoun City, 7:39, Derma, 7:41, Thorne, 7:44. Pyland, 7:50, Hall area around 7:51, at 8 o'clock right there around Sonora, right around 8 o'clock. That does include parts of Calhoun City and then also into Calhoun County and then Chickasaw County as well.
More reports of trees down around Ingomar. Give me a second to get the picture up here. Appreciate Brian for this shot. Let's see if he'll pop it up full screen for you. Quick look. There we are. Brian near Ingomar, of another tree down from this line there. Luckily, it looks like across the street from where they're at, looks like it's probably also a pine tree knocked down. So another pine tree knocked down there in the Ingomar area because of this one.
Yep, strong gusty winds with this. And trees like this, we have seen other trees falling as well. So with these storms, you might want to go ahead and be in your safe place location, just in case it does come through your area and cause damage, maybe closer to your home. Just to be on the safe side, being in your safe place right now, because we have seen a couple of these trees down. Is that uprooted? I can't see the base of that.
I think if I look closer, it looks like it might be snapped.
Okay.
So
yeah.
which pine trees have a tendency more to snap, I guess, than be uprooted. The oaks, the hardwoods, typically more uprooted. But that's, I mean, if you're snapping it, that's a pretty good sign of strength.
Yeah. And even with snap trees or uprooted trees, some of them are just uprooting because of how much moisture is still soaked into the ground, making it easier for those to be pushed over. And trees that snap have to have some gusty winds with them to really give that oomph to push them over.
So the reason I went 3D on this one here, this one looks like it might have more hail there as it's right over top of the Bruce area. Yeah,
that's what I was going to ask, because I see that really dark.
Yeah, that one's still building. That hasn't dropped its hail yet. Or if it is, it's just now starting to. So I'm going to let you take over for just a second. I'm going to pass along that report from Thaxton.
Okay. And with the storm that is in Calhoun County right now, seeing really some dark returns there is what we are seeing. And this is kind of what we are tracking. Still a very tall storm and continuing to strengthen is what it looks like over the past couple of scans. So make sure you are not driving if you do not have to into parts of Calhoun County and then also into Chickasaw County, as this storm is warned until 7:45. Strong gusty winds with this. Of course, you don't want to drive through that. Heavy rainfall, and as the sun is going to be setting, that is going to cause visibility issues, more than what we already see right now with the heavy rainfall just itself. And so right now this storm is moving into parts of Calhoun County, moving through parts of Calhoun County right now. And then we also have that second storm further to the north. The time is now 7:34. I'm meteorologist Chelsea Brown alongside Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhon. What we are tracking out is a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. That first one, that further northern one, is what we are tracking right now. Parts of Pontotoc, Lee, Chickasaw, Monroe, Itawamba County, really all the way to that Mississippi-Alabama state line. This right here, we have seen reports of tree damage, power line damage, very strong gusty winds. Kind of zooming in a little bit closer, getting a few of those roads there into parts of southern Lee County, moving towards Old Union. If you are traveling along Highway 45, really from Tupelo down towards the Okalona area, here in the next few minutes, getting those strong gusty winds. This is not something you want to be driving through, and if you are at home, maybe go ahead and get in that tornado safe place, even though this is not a tornado warning, just to be on the safe side, since we have seen reports of damage with this. Kind of going to get a track along with this of when some of these storms will be making its way closer towards the Itawamba and like northern Monroe County areas, moving towards Shannon, 7:43, Fulton, 7:48, Okalona, 7:50, Evergreen area, 7:55, Bounds Crossroads, 7:58, Tremont, 8 o'clock, Amory, 8:06, Smithville, 8:09, Quincy area around 8:20. That severe thunderstorm warning does go all the way to that Mississippi-Alabama County lines right now, and including all the way down towards southern Monroe County. You can see they're all the way down 25 to Aberdeen and south of Aberdeen area as well. Another storm that we are continuing to track just to the south of those areas is going to be moving through parts of Calhoun County right now. And zooming in a little bit closer towards that storm, that one does go until 7:45 as well. Right now, tracking through the Calhoun City area, very strong gusty winds, heavier rainfall with this. Getting a track on this one, we are still seeing this moving around 40 miles per hour, but tracking this through the rest of Calhoun County into parts of Chickasaw County. The times at Calhoun City, really right about now here in the next few moments. Vardaman area 7:44, Houston 7:49, Tabbville 7:52, Woodland area 8 o'clock, Manatee 8:04, getting towards Pine Bluff around 8:11, and that's going to be continuing out of that severe thunderstorm warned box. Both of these, or this one does go until 7:45. That northern storm does go until all the way to the Mississippi-Alabama state line, but the time on that goes until 8:45.
This storm here, when it was in Lafayette Springs, new picture coming in from a viewer there of a tree split there in Lafayette Springs. Of course, that'd be out in Lafayette County. It's fairly well snapped there. So this is different than some of these uprooted trees. I mean, uprooted, it's clearly strong winds, but when you're kind of snapping big sections off, it's not just wet soil, it is the strength of the winds as well. So, I mean, clearly there are some issues.
And those leaves on the tree kind of hold that wind as kind of a barrier. That's where you see some more of those trees snapped and split like that because the wind can't get through what would be empty branches. So the leaves kind of helping but hurting, to say, with some of these storms.
So they have extended the watch here for a lot of other counties.
Yeah, the National Weather Service in Jackson would have issued these to the south. This does now go until 2 a.m. Did you click on the south ones, or is this for all of them?
That's the south ones, and that's the west. So both Birmingham and Jackson involved in that one. It looks like Huntsville does keep until 2 a.m. out there in Franklin County. And then the northern part of the area, it's till 9 p.m. That's not to say that Memphis might not have the ability to extend it. I'll figure that out for sure here in a minute.
So still over the next several hours, we are tracking out these storms. All of us now included in a severe thunderstorm watch. That just means the ingredients are favorable. And of course, like we're already seeing warnings on this. So ingredients, of course, are favorable. Right now, we do have that one severe thunderstorm warning in effect for parts of Calhoun and Chickasaw counties. And that's going to be, you can see there from Calhoun City up towards Highway 341 and the Thorn areas, right where we are starting to see some more of those gusty winds. A lot of lightning, heavy rainfall with this could easily cause tree damage as well.
So what I was trying to do on this, and the reason I brought this up is just trying to see if some of that bigger hail was falling before it got to Vardaman. And sometimes when you get a collapse, a couple things happen. You get the hail to fall out, and obviously that's something we're interested in. But it also can put out those most damaging winds. And it does look like it's dropped a little bit, yeah, right?
Yes, it does. So maybe in the Hollis, Vardaman area, just about to get some more of those really
Calhoun City too.
Strongest winds. Yeah, Calhoun City is really right on top of you right now, getting some of those strongest winds, maybe some hail with that. And of course, if you do have any reports with either one of these storms, you can tweet them out to us, tag us, WTVA Weather, or any of our meteorologists will be able to see that, or you can send them to weather@WTVA.com through email. Right now, kind of tracking this one out into parts of Calhoun County. Derma, here the next, really right on top of you, 739, Hollis 741, Vardaman 746, Thorn 749, down towards Tabbville 754, out into parts of Chickasaw County. This warning box does go until 7:45. Very strong gusty winds with this. Okay, that just includes the watch is what that's in the chat. Right now, still tracking that one further to the north. Severe thunderstorm warning that does include parts of Lee County, Itawamba County, and then into parts of northern Chickasaw and Monroe counties as well. You can kind of see where that leading edge of those winds are right there along Highway 45 back towards Okolona and Parkersburg right there. So this storm still moving about 40 miles per hour, and that warning box does go all the way to that Mississippi-Alabama state line. Kind of get a track on that. Some of these areas moving into Shannon area around 740, Okolona 745, Unity 749, Centerville 754, 756 into New Wren, Carolina area 759, Amory 803, Smithville 808, Turon area around 812, Quincy around 817 right now, Splunge 821. We are going to continue to see this tracking closer to that Itawamba County area and then into parts of Monroe County right now. We will continue to, Matt.
No, go ahead. Brad sending us this picture on Twitter of a tree that looks like it snapped off and is on a home in the Tupelo area on Preston Street, I believe is the location of this. Let's see if I can. I mean, clearly you could see it's kind of on there. Luckily, it looks like it's somewhat balanced. It's not a situation where it's kind of, you know, cut the house in half, which is always kind of our worst case scenario on this. I'll see if I can go back, and you can see snapped off there. Definitely took a pretty good wind gust there, President Street and Tupelo on that one on a home.
Yeah, and while these storms do pass through the area, you don't want to go out and try to find that damage. You want to just go ahead and wait for really don't go out and find that damage, because the emergency management, and if power does go out, power companies will be out trying to restore power and fix any kind of damage that we could be seeing. Right now we have seen a lot of straight line winds cause tree damage, uprooted trees, snap trees with this. So very gusty winds coming out of these storms in right now Lee County, Chickasaw County, continuing to push through. Really, if you are traveling or know somebody traveling along Highway 45, right now travel in these kind of storms is going to be, visibility is very low with the rainfall amounts and as the sun is setting.
Another picture of tree snapped in the Oxford area. Appreciate Marie for sending us this picture on Twitter. As you can see, snapped, and it looks like the sun has come out on the backside of this. It's a reminder of how kind of isolated some of these storms are as they go through. Another shot, not a particularly, not a super large tree, but I mean it's fairly large. Caused a little damage. Clearly, some plastic lawn furniture there. But the fact that these are being snapped off so high up is interesting. A lot of times when we get these, they get pushed over. And you get a root ball in the air. We can say it was wet roots. I mean, these are clearly strong enough that it's snapping trees, not necessarily just uprooting them. And that's an important distinction. That's the reason why this is a severe thunderstorm warning we're staying on. We're snapping trees, and that's 65, 70 mile per hour winds.
Yeah, and definitely, and that's why we're telling you to stay aware and still be in your safe place if possible, because with these trees, some of these close to homes, like that one did land on some lawn furniture, so just go ahead and be in your safe place just to be on the safe side of things as these really strong winds do push right now, getting closer towards that Nettleton area, Highway 6, moving up towards the southern Lee County area right there. Very strong winds with this moving through parts of Lee County and then into parts of Monroe County right now. Kind of getting a track on that 744 into the Nettleton area, and then you can see Richmond in that at 751, Evergreen 754, Carolina area around 756, Bigby 757, 801 in Amory, and then Flynn 802. So as these do move through the area, very strong gusty winds have knocked over, uprooted, snapped trees, caused power issues, knocked over power lines when it was back into parts of Lafayette County.
I'm just going up the line because this did start off as a tornado warning at one point, and I just want to make sure that this isn't still on the north side there. I don't really see anything that I'm concerned with that other than all the way up here in Tishomingo County, and that's a little bit of rotation on that one there, and it definitely has more strong winds. It looks like they've recently, just in the last couple moments here, issued at 7:44, they issued a severe thunderstorm warning up for Tishomingo County.
Yeah, and that does include places like Tishomingo, Peppertown, Dennis. You can see County Road, 993, I think that was just covered, but getting a few times on that here in the next few minutes. Tishomingo State Park, Carter Branch at 746, Tishomingo State Park 748, Peppertown 749, Burnstown 750, Bloody Springs 753, Dennis 753, Pogo 759. And that severe thunderstorm warning does go until the 8 o'clock hour, so about the next 15 minutes or so. Once again, these very strong gusty winds is why these severe thunderstorm warnings have been put in place.
Another shot here of tree damage, this in Ecru, and clearly you can see there's some clear skies after this, but this tree kind of snapped. Now this does not look like the strongest tree on the inside there. We show it's kind of black in the middle, so it might not have been super healthy, but it's not just uprooted trees. Once again, Chelsea, it is snapped trees.
Yeah, definitely. And
I'm trying to think of who, Andrew sending that one in there from the Ecru area.
Yeah. And once you are going out after these storms have passed and it is safe to go out, make sure you are sending us that damage if you do see any. Don't try to find damage, but if it is in your yard, you can tweet that to us at WTVA Weather. You can tweet that to Matt or I, or you can also send that to us in an email at weather@WTVA.com.
Got another one from New Albany that's split here. This one a little smaller. Let me think here. This is Therese, I think, that's sending this one in. Give me a moment. So Therese sending this one, as you can see, a tree there that was kind of split. That does not look like a particularly strong tree or large tree, but those obviously causing some damage related to this.
And right now we have 3 severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. One for parts of Tishomingo County, the one right back behind me that you're looking at. You can see a lot of those strong gusty winds. A little bit down the line, we do have that one in effect for parts of Lee, Itawamba, Monroe, Chickasaw counties right now. You can see that strongest wind right around Nettleton area, moving back towards Okolona. So Highway 45, Highway 6 there, and then also a little bit further to the north.
Looks like there are a couple little areas of rotation. I don't know that we're going to get it to produce a tornado, but there are a couple little areas of rotation there, kind of on the lead side of this, Chelsea.
Yeah, and that's going to be just west of the, just barely south and west of the Richmond area, west of the Evergreen area as well. Kind of tracking that out for you here in the next few minutes. Moving into the Richmond area, 751, 754, Evergreen, Carolina, 756. New Salem 807, Turon area at 809, and that's going to be in parts of Itawamba County and very, very far northern Monroe County, kind of getting that track to you. Make sure you are in your safe place right now, as we have seen multiple reports of tree damage with this, and some of those closer to homes and some of those on homes and on in your yard on other things. But right now, make sure you are in a sturdy structure in the middle of your home, lowest floor of your home. Wrap up in pillows and blankets, and if you do have a helmet, go ahead and put that on. Protect yourself from any trees or power lines that could cause damage or be knocked over in these strong gusty winds. We are still seeing 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts in this, so you just want to be kind of overprotective with this as this does continue to push right now. This storm pushing through Lee County and then moving out into parts of Itawamba and northern Monroe counties right now, included in that severe thunderstorm box. And that does go all the way to that Mississippi-Alabama state line until 8:45. So just under an hour in that severe thunderstorm warning right now. Tracking that out for you, moving into parts of Monroe County, some of these areas. New Wren 751, Wren area 752, Amory 759, Becker area 803, Parham 810, Quincy area 813, Wisecap 816, Simpsey Fork 820, and that's going to be closer to that Mississippi-Alabama state line right now. With these very strong gusty winds, this is not something you want to drive through because visibility already where we are seeing that sun is setting. Visibility is going to be down with how much rainfall we are seeing as well. With those gusty winds, it makes it hazardous to travel as well, kind of pushing you all over the road right now.
Matthew sending in this picture when it was moving through, I think, through Pontotoc County. Is my video going to load? Nope, not going to load. Okay, I'll see if I can pull it up a different way here in a second.
Okay. And that was Pontotoc County?
Yeah, Pontotoc, but now it's loading, so it's...
Okay.
Yeah, how that works. Nope, or apparently it's not. So I can visually see it, but no one else can.
I saw for a second. It looked like very, very breezy conditions.
Yeah, let's try this and see if this is better. Nope. Okay, we're straight. Not going to work. Okay, well, I'll see if we can clarify that.
Okay.
Apologize for that, Chelsea.
That's fine. And if you do have any of those reports of damage after you are getting out of your home or getting out of your shelter in your yard, You can tweet those to us, send it to us on Facebook, or email that to us at weather@WTVA.com. Right now, okay.
There's our video. I mean, so it gives you an idea of just how strong this was as it was going through. They were in their storm shelter, thankfully, clearly trying to look out of that. Quite a bit of wind there. I mean, just looking at the kind of middle of the screen right there, I mean, that's probably at least 50, 60 mile per hour wind, seeing the way the rain is kind of going sideways there on that. So.
Yeah, and a lot of those trees right there full of those leaves, so that does not really help in this situation because those leaves kind of act as like a barrier with those winds to make it easier for those to be snapped or knocked over right now. And we have seen really multiple reports of trees being snapped or being uprooted with this.
Hey, Chelsea, well, and we've just got a new scan in here,
okay.
But I was looking just for a moment there near County Road, what is that, 1411? Mm-hmm. That was enough rotation with a little spike in lightning to double check and make sure we didn't have something that spun up there at that spot. That might have just been a questionable return. It's right kind of on the leading edge there. There's a little nook that we're watching near Richmond and Evergreen along 371. This coverage started covering a tornado warning. This storm is probably strengthening to where that could be something that comes again at some point here, and this is the spot I would say that it's the most likely there between Richmond and Evergreen along 371. This one, unlike the other storm, probably heading more east. We're going to assume still 40 miles per hour. I'll get you a track on that, but this one's going to have to watch pretty closely.
Right, moving closer towards Evergreen in the next 3 minutes, Abney in the next 7 minutes, Cardsville 13 minutes, Itawamba Agricultural High School 15 minutes, Tilden area in the next 17 minutes, 25 minutes into Academy area. That is moving into parts of Itawamba County right now. That center of rotation really just west of that Lee-Itawamba County line, really along Highway 371. Right now, this is still a severe thunderstorm warning, but we are seeing a little bit more of those signs of rotation. So right now, only radar indicated at this time, and right now it's in between Richmond and Evergreen area. Unsafe places to be right now, traveling, so cars, trucks, that's going to be very unsafe. Mobile homes, even if it is just gusty winds. We have seen a lot of tree damage, so could do damage to mobile homes, easier to knock over with that. Large open rooms, very unsafe. Upper floors, you want to be on that lowest level of your home. Rooms with windows, you want to be in a windowless room, wrap up in pillows and blankets right now. So some of those safe places, once again, a sturdy structure, middle of your home on the lowest floor, and if you do have a storm shelter, that's even better. Right now, pillows, blankets, small windowless room. If you have a helmet, put that on to protect you from any of that debris. Right there, you can see where we are seeing a little bit more of those signs of rotation along 371, Richmond to Evergreen, crossing over that Itawamba County line from Lee County right now. So we are starting to see a little bit more of those signs of rotation.
Yeah, tracking. I mean, that's picking up quite a bit there. I mean, I think, I don't know that it's going to produce a tornado, Chelsea, but I think if it's going to do it, we're within about the 10 minutes where it will. Mm-hmm. Let's take 2 seconds. We've traced that a bunch. Let's check the rest of it, and we're going to have to come back. We don't want to miss out on that one.
Okay. Right now, still tracking a severe thunderstorm warning right now into parts now of Monroe County where some of those gustier winds, Itawamba County, tracking this out for you right now. Bigby here in the next minute or so, 7:54. Amory area 7:58, Flynn right at 8 o'clock, Hatley 8:03, Smithville 8:04, Quincy area 8:11, Wise Gap 8:14, Gatman right there along that Mississippi-Alabama state line 8:22, Hamilton at 8:23, Pine Springs 8:27. These are straight line winds we are tracking for most of this moving into parts of Monroe County right now. We have seen reports of trees snapped, uprooted with this storm, so just make sure go ahead and be in your safe place as well, even if this is not trying to rotate. Moving back up to the north into parts of Tishomingo County right now, still tracking that severe thunderstorm warned box. This does go until 8 o'clock. You can see most of that wind right there has pushed out of Mississippi area, moving into parts of Alabama, but still tracking that out into Pogo area around 7:54, Minot 7:56, Pleasant Site around 7:58, continuing to track that out into parts of Alabama from Tishomingo County. That's going to be the storm further to the north right now, but still very gusty winds with these storms, straight line winds with this.
That's awful close. We're still waiting on a new scan here. It looks like it's a minute or two late in arriving. I'm going to go up a couple scans. Maybe we'll have a better idea on this one. But this one's pretty close here near Evergreen and 371, Chelsea.
Okay, and that's going to be right there, County Road. No, that's Dorsey Evergreen Road right there, getting closer towards those areas in between Evergreen and then up towards the Abney area as well. But you can see that center of rotation really just north or really at the Evergreen area, moving into parts of Itawamba County now. So it is just crossed over that Itawamba County line. So in parts of eastern Itawamba County right now, continuing to track out right now, seeing a little bit of signs of that rotation.
It looks like it'll stay south of Fulton. Okay.
Here in the next few minutes, Piney Grove Church 756, Keys Church 759, Van Buren 803, Beans Ferry 806, Tilden area 808, Kennedy Chapel 815, Tremont 817 right now. Continuing to track that really just straight east into parts of Itawamba County right now, around the Evergreen areas where we are seeing that around 817 into Tremont area.
Power outages continue to come in. As you can see, Lafayette County up in excess of 5,000 power outages for them. We'll have to kind of click on these. We show 290 in Pontotoc County. There's not a ton that are tracked. There are more residents there than are tracked. Union County, we show 482, about 13% of the 3,000 residents that are tracked. And in Lee County, only Tom Bigby Electric tracks there, and we show 123. Those numbers continuing to go up but just under 10,000 statewide related to this. You want to switch places for a minute? Yeah, here. I'll switch you for just a second. So we continue to track what are primarily straight line wind returns coming in here on Storm Track Doppler radar with this line as it moves in. But this is kind of the one spot there that we are watching. There's some rotation out of this. As Chelsea's been mentioning, this has not been necessarily over the last little bit here widespread tornado potential, but there's just a couple of spots, and I would say it's unwound a little bit over the last minute here. I would say, let me pull that off there. Right along this line, there's just a couple of spots here where I could make the argument that there is some rotation. It's been kind of really right there was where we have been looking, and just kind of looking at the latest couple of scans here. It's definitely still showing up in that spot there. There's quite a bit of lightning, and clearly that's part of the reason why we are concerned at this time. Current time is just before 8 p.m. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon alongside our meteorologist Chelsea Brown. We're getting reports of fairly widespread wind damage reports out of this line. In some cases, trees on homes, including on President Avenue in the Tupelo area, one of those spots. So we're continuing to kind of assess those reports. You can send yours in, weather@WTVA.com. We're trying to kind of work our way through those. Twitter and Facebook, always easier at WTVA Weather, where you can send those pictures in. Amory at 7:59 for you, Fulton at 8:01, Smithville 8:04, Aberdeen 8:08, working its way toward Tremont 8:15, and Solingen about 8:30. For the folks behind the scenes, what I do probably want to do is I think we probably want to drop off of ABC and Fox and stay on NBC here as of the 8 o'clock time period. Count me down to that. We'll release those folks. We're going to keep going here and, of course, streaming live on Facebook and the WTVA Weather app, a place where you can always stay up to date with these as well. But this strong straight line wind moving through Monroe and sections of Itawamba County and has caused quite a bit in the way of wind damage. I'll say this, when it came through the TV station here, it did not sound particularly bad, Chelsea. Would you agree? I mean, I didn't.
No, it didn't.
I didn't hear a ton. So there still, I would say, some questions just to how much of this strong wind is making it to the ground. As we go kind of back behind here, I mean, there's a lot of these reports, 50, 60, 65, 70 mile per hour winds. Those aren't showing up as much anymore, and those are always a bit above the surface. There's always some question how much mixes down. Just considering the number of wind damage reports we've had, that's why our consideration has been that we stay on with this. When you start getting fairly widespread reports and you do have at least some homes with trees on them, that's always our concern as we're watching this. I'm going to go wide to just double check where we're kind of at on the whole here. New severe thunderstorm warning issued for Clay and Webster counties. The National Weather Service in Jackson issuing that in the last little bit here as these storms kind of move in the direction of those folks. So as we put a track on this, and I'm going to kind of go see if we can catch it on the wind area here. It's not going to look as impressive because it's not coming directly from the radar. It's not heading directly toward the radar in Monroe County, so it's always kind of more difficult to get a really true assessment on this there. Macondi at just before 8 p.m. We show Una at 8:03. 8:03, Cumberland at 8:11 there, Phoebe at 8:19, Mabin at 8:22, West Point 8:29, Old Waverly Golf Club there near West Point at 8:35, Starkville 8:43, Officers Lake at 8:44. So continue to monitor for a lot of those folks there. Current time is 8 p.m. or at least 7:59, about to click over to 8 p.m. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon alongside our meteorologist Chelsea Brown, tracking a line of damaging wind gusts, the strongest of which are moving through Monroe and Itawamba counties, and the National Weather Service and Birmingham looking at this and saying we got to watch this closely, and extending the severe thunderstorm warning to include Marion and Lamar counties on the Alabama side. So we're 8:45 on our severe thunderstorm warnings on the Mississippi side. We're 9 p.m. for those on the Alabama side. Strong straight line winds in particular, what this line has been capable of producing. On this view here, I want to look at this a couple times here in slow motion. I'm watching up here toward Cardsville, where you kind of from time to time have this where it kind of reaches up like a hand kind of curling around. That can be a sign. And that is that area where we're looking at Richmond, where there's some rotation. We're going to watch that closely. We're going to look at that in a minute. And I want to see Becker and Amory down here. There's just another little appendage there where the winds could be kind of wrapping back around. So let's circle those two, and then we're going to come in and investigate. Because on the rainfall mode, they should definitely show some rotation. On the wind mode, it might not be quite as organized there. And it does look like we are ahead of scan on the wind mode. Still showing, yeah, a little interaction here, but I think this is still more straight line winds. Becker and Amory, our strongest winds moving through Amory right now, approaching Smithville, just east of the Carolina community. The rotation on the northern one of these still there, but it has not really taken that next step to produce a tornado based on kind of what we're looking at here. Thankfully, at least not at this point. Does not look like that is the case. I'm going to go to the one direction wind, basically the inbound wind toward the radar there. And you can see this green here from all the way south of Fulton to Cardsville, Smithville to Amory. This is all strong straight line winds kind of working its way through Monroe and southern Itawamba counties that could be in excess of 60, 65. I don't know that we're talking quite 70 mile per hour winds like we were just a little bit ago, but I'd say 60, 65 mile per hour winds still a possibility out of this. So Flynn 802, Smithville 804, Hatley 806. We're looking at Athens at 807, New Salem 808, Quincy 811, 811 for Turon, Greenwood Springs there at 817, Splunge at 818, Wise Gap 814, Sipsey Fork 821, Detroit 823, as well as Gapman at 823 and Pine Springs at 829. In this situation, we want to probably be in a sturdy structure. So it's not a situation I can look at you and say we have a tornado warning. We don't. I don't know that we have tornadoes forming out of this, and we're watching the Cardsville area. If there were to be one would happen there, but we still have some time. It's not the next scan or two where we're talking about that, but it's just on this kind of fairly wide scale here where we have proof positive based on some of the wind damage reports that this could still produce some sporadic damage. So especially north-south oriented manufactured homes, as well as folks traveling along north-south roads. There's always the concern there that perhaps we could have a really strong wind gust hit then cause some problems. So that's why we recommend a sturdy structure, middle of the lowest floor, a small windowless room, a place where you can wrap yourself in blankets and pillows, put on a helmet to protect yourself from debris, and kind of stay there until we can give you the all clear. And more than anything, it's this: just avoid those unsafe places in this severe thunderstorm warning: cars, trucks, and mobile homes. And hopefully we should be in good shape with this. Though a severe thunderstorm warning has not been issued up for locations in Franklin County, Alabama. Red Bay, we're getting some of the strongest winds for you as well at this moment. I'm going to get a storm track on this here, and I'm going to trade Chelsea back for a few minutes, as long as you're good with that. But our track here, as we show, Piney Bend 807, Old Nauvoo at 811, Bell Green 814, working its way toward Russellville 822, Phil Campbell 833. We'll switch camera shots here for a minute. Carroll Crossroads at 841, 843 there, Bear Creek, and Posey Mill at 844. Chelsea. Okay.
There are a couple of pictures in the email I have pulled up on Weather 2. I'm not sure how to.
I'll get that on. I'll get that on here for you.
Here. Right now, still continuing to track severe thunderstorm warnings right now that have caused a lot of very gusty winds, very breezy conditions. Kind of taking a little bit of a wider look back out. Continuing to see those severe thunderstorm warnings in effect into parts of Itawamba County, Monroe County, and then now also moving into parts of Alabama. Sulligent, Hamilton, Alabama included in this. Still continuing to see that heaviest rainfall, that gusty winds from Itawamba Agricultural High School down towards 25 into Amory, and then moving over towards the Wren area right now, continuing to push out those gusty winds. Zooming in a little bit closer, we are seeing a lot of those winds right there between Amory and Smithville, those gusty winds making its way closer to the area, and then also getting into Hatley here in the next minute or so.
A couple little notches there. I mean, it's hard to ignore that on that perspective. They just don't have the same rotation on just the wind mode. So, and I was able to get at least one of those pictures up here for you. This,
okay.
Let me get the location. Give me a second again here. This would come from Ingomar, south of Oaks Country Club. Appreciate Shelly for sending this in. Let's see if it'll pop back up here. So this, another one of those trees down near the Ingomar area. We've had a lot of reports of trees down there with that, the edge of the tree. Now this one might actually be one, yeah, where it did like uproot it. So another shot there near the Ingomar area, and I'll try to get you the shot you had a second ago, okay, up and going. I'll let you track this for a moment.
All right, and this has really been all the way through this storm since we have been tracking it all the way past back out towards Lafayette County. It caused numerous reports of trees down in really every county that it's tracked through. Right now, continuing to see those strong gusty winds from Smithville down towards Hatley right now, continuing to push out those 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts right now, moving through parts of Monroe County. Parham area, Fire Tower Road here in the next few moments, getting into your locations. Pierce Chapel Road, moving into your locations here in the next few minutes.
And this from Brewer, lots and lots of lightning pictures, as you might imagine, starting to come in. And maybe some of our power disruptions could be from that as well.
Yes, and since there are some people without power, we are also live streaming on WTVA.com, and you can also get to that through the WTVA News app and also the WTVA Weather app as well. You can see those live streams if your power does go out. And also go ahead and charge your phone, have it on the charger if it is not already, because with power outages, some of them could be widespread, and it could take a little bit longer for power companies to get those back on. So just make sure you have multiple ways to get alerts or to watch us as well. Continuing to track out right now a severe thunderstorm warning. How do I close this? Just that X?
Yeah, X, yeah.
Okay. Continuing to track out a severe thunderstorm right now, moving through parts of Monroe County.
I'm going to tell you, Chelsea, I mean, it's kind of hard to ignore that.
Right,
I mean,
there,
even if wind isn't verifying that.
Smithville, Parham, and Hatley.
Yeah.
Right there, in Mount Zion Road.
Yeah, it's that's, I mean, that's...
It doesn't look impressive on wind. On the rainfall mode, though, in the next 3 minutes, getting closer towards Parham areas. Around 8:10, Bethlehem Church 8:18, New Hope Baptist Church 8:10 right now. Continuing to see maybe some signs of rotation. You can kind of see that kink in the rainfall mode there, right along Mount Zion Road, Hatley Detroit Road. Continuing to see that pushing closer towards that Monroe County and over towards that Alabama state line right now.
I'm going to pull this up. I'll see if I can get it to kind of, well, okay, I'll align it here. But with some of these pictures coming in the last couple minutes from this storm, that's the reason I'm taking the time to pop it up.
Is that the one from Andy?
This is, yeah, Andy Long. Yeah, sending in this picture here in the last couple minutes of this specific storm. And that's not an unimpressive look to it. And there's clearly some rotation with that, the Hatley-Smithville area. So you're looking at, I mean, you can point out the striations there, or at least the laminar, look to what's going on. Hard to say for sure that this is kind of dancing the line between, is it rotating or is it just a wind sort of event? But clearly it's somewhere in between right now.
Yeah. Still very strong winds, even if it is not trying to rotate. We have seen multiple reports of tree damage with this same storm as it has pushed back over several counties. So right now, continuing to track out right now closer towards the Parham community, Parham Store Road down from Smithville, continuing to track that closer towards that Mississippi-Alabama County line here in the next few moments. 8:10, Parham area, getting close towards Pierce Chapel Road.
I'm going to go up a couple scans since it's so close to the radar. Maybe we'll have a better shot there of this rotation. I mean, there's rotation there. It's just, I mean, we're so close to the radar that sometimes, very suspect. I'll widen you out a little bit.
Okay, that radar you can see right there, pretty close to those areas. So it's going to move towards the Splunge area and then over into Detroit, Alabama, over that Mississippi-Alabama county line. Just here in the next few minutes, it's going to be getting closer towards Parham, really right on top of you about now. Turon 811, Academy 819, Detroit area 824, Bexar 828, Cruz 834, Beaverton 839, Hamilton, Alabama around 842 right now. That's going to continue to move through parts of Monroe County, Itawamba County, and then off into parts of Alabama across that state line, continuing to track out that severe thunderstorm warning. On the Mississippi side does go until 8:45. On that Alabama County side goes until 9 o'clock. On that Alabama County side is where it gets towards Henson Springs, Weston area. They're along 22, and then Alabama Highway 17 there going towards Detroit, Alabama.
I have a couple pictures from of some tree damage from back around Pontotoc with this. And again, the reason we're so far behind it on some of these pictures, appreciate Kevin for sharing these with us on Twitter. That one, a branch that snapped. It just takes time after the fact before people get out and observe what's happening. Luckily, that's branches, not full trees. That's still probably 50 to 60 mile per hour winds causing that damage there.
Yeah, and if you are ahead of that line and that has not passed, you still want to go ahead and be in your safe place. Because we have seen so many trees down, that straight line wind damage sometimes can do just as much damage and cause as many trees or power poles to fall. Right now, still tracking that out. You can see those winds right along Highway 25. You can see they're just east of Cardsville right now, into parts of southern Itawamba County, just north of Turon. Kind of tracking that out closer to that Alabama state line. Kennedy Chapel 817, Academy 819, James Creek Church 823, Bexar 828, Bexar Church 828, Byrd Junior High School 830, Gravel Springs Junior High 831, Cooper Free Will Baptist Church 833. So here just in the next several minutes, we are going to be seeing a lot of those straight line winds continuing to move through eastern parts of Itawamba County and Monroe County as they are approaching that Mississippi-Alabama County line right now. Still very gusty winds, some of those wind gusts 60 to 70 miles per hour right now. Kind of taking a wider look a little bit down the line.
Still, are you still looking? Yeah, you still looking down here? Yeah, that's still kind of a weird representation on radar on the wind there. It's more than nothing. I would treat it as wind damage. I would treat it as a situation they need to get to a safe place, and we've said that over and over again for the whole line. But that's kind of an odd representation.
Right there on Hatley Detroit Road going towards Parham right there.
I'm gonna let you drive for a minute.
Hatley Detroit Road going towards Parham right there, showing a little bit of signs of rotation embedded in this line of storms moving through Monroe County. That's going to be getting closer towards Splunge, Simpson Detroit Road there, right along that Mississippi-Alabama County lines. Hatley Detroit Road as well on that Mississippi-Alabama state lines right there. Continuing to track out pretty strong gusty winds and what could be maybe signs of rotation in parts of Monroe County. Once again, zooming in a little bit closer, right now moving just east of the Parham community on that latest scan. Getting a track on some of these right there towards Detroit here in the next 10 minutes on that Alabama County side. Splunge really right on top of you with some of those gusty winds moving through parts of Monroe County. Simpson Fork here in the next few minutes, seeing signs of the strong straight line winds. Let me zoom out a little bit so I can get a little bit of a longer track on this as well. Moving into Splunge around 8:13, so right about now, Simpson Fork 8:15, Detroit 8:22, Pine Springs 8:23, Sulligent 8:27, Cruz area 8:30, Henson Springs 8:31. On the, where's that at?
This is Pontotoc.
Okay.
So go ahead. The reason I popped this up is just to remind people this is what they're looking at when you're tracking these out.
Yeah, and we have gotten reports just like this, a lot of trees down as it was we really started this coverage, pushed all the way back into parts of Lafayette County. So while this is still not a tornado warned storm, this has caused numerous reports of damage with trees down and some power lines down, some power outages as well. So go ahead and be in your safe place if you are still ahead of this line of storms. Further to the south, though, still into parts now of Clay County. We are continuing to see through Aberdeen over towards Una, Manatee, continuing to see that pushing through Clay County right now. Very strong straight line gusty winds is what we are tracking. That severe thunderstorm warning into Clay County will go until 8:15. Right now, right on that Clay County line, Una, Manatee, along Highway 15, Highway 8 over towards Aberdeen is where those winds are about now, where that heaviest rainfall is right about now. And if you are traveling, the sun is continuing to set, so this is just going to cause visibility issues. So if you don't have to go out, just go ahead and stay in. And if you are in these areas, be in your safe place, because we have seen multiple reports of trees down like we have shown you throughout this coverage. Still tracking this same cell that we have been tracking as it was all the way back closer towards Lafayette County, now into parts of eastern Monroe County, soon to move out into parts of Alabama. Right now, continuing to see Tremont here in right about now, 8:16. Wise Gap 8:17, Simpsey Fork 8:21, Bexar 8:26, Pine Springs 8:28, Henson Springs 8:34, Fulton Bridge 8:39, Vernon 8:45, Guin 8:48, Guin 8:51, and that's going to be on that Alabama County side. Guin really just outside of that severe thunderstorm warning right now. On that Alabama side, it does go until 8 o'clock.
There's still those two little notches there, Chelsea, that are very, I mean, they're concerning. They don't look like a tornado at this instant, but there's just more there than nothing.
And those are going to be really right around Hatley-Detroit Road in between Parham and Splunge, and then also just north of the Turon area along 23, and just slightly north of that is what we are continuing to see. Maybe a little bit of signs of rotation embedded in this really straight line windstorm.
These are from Thaxton area, a tree that was snapped off there. Does not look like a particularly new tree. Does look like it's kind of somewhat overgrown, but another one of those trees in Thaxton that was damaged by these strong straight line winds.
And that's still snapped pretty high up, like a lot of these that we have seen.
I think maybe we need to go back for just a second and look at Thaxton, because I feel like in Pontotoc, Thaxton, Hurricane Community, we've had a lot of those pictures coming in. We've had pictures other places, but I feel like we've had a ton of them from just kind of those spots there. And Ingomar. I mean, that's where you did have your area of kind of most intense rotation, and then actually the strongest straight line winds. I'll put the middle there, Lafayette Springs. That was right on that bow echo when it just was kind of the strongest there, Lafayette Springs, Thaxton, Possum Trot, and that went directly into the Pontotoc area as well. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to walk this forward so we can kind of analyze where that portion of this is still now. I mean, I would say it's kind of a combination. The rotating part is farther north up around Cardsville. The strongest straight line winds there probably right along Splunge Road now.
Yep. I mean, I agree with you right there. Really some of those strongest winds from Splunge down towards Wise Gap area, really right where we are seeing the radar in Greenwood Springs. Getting a track on this, kind of getting towards Splunge, Gapman area along that Mississippi Alabama County line. Just here in the next few minutes, we are seeing that getting closer towards those locations. Wise Gap 8:18, 8:21 Simpsey Fork, Detroit 8:26, Celigent 8:32, Beaverton 8:40. And on the Mississippi side, this warning does go in effect until 8:45. On the Alabama County side, that does go in effect until 9 o'clock. On the Alabama County side for that severe thunderstorm warning right now. Continuing to track pretty strong straight line winds in between Splunge area and Wise Gap into parts of Monroe County right now. Taking a little bit of a wider look. Continuing to also track a severe thunderstorm warning just to the south of those locations into parts of Clay County until 9:15. Continuing to see really the line of storms pushed back towards Manti, and then right along that Clay County line, moving into parts of northern Clay County right now. Still some very strong straight line gusty winds moving into northern Clay County right now. So if you are traveling in any of these, once again, it is going to be visibility is low. A lot of heavier rainfall, gusty winds makes hazardous travel as well. So if you do not have to get out, I'd recommend not getting out. And if you are in really some of these lines where we are seeing some more of those very stronger storms pushing through, I would still be in your safe place into parts of far eastern Monroe County. And then if you are out towards Sulligent, Detroit, Hamilton, Alabama's with this as well, continue to be in your safe place, as we have seen multiple reports of tree damage and trees being snapped and uprooted with this as well. Getting another track on this, a little bit of a longer track going towards Splunge right about now. Detroit, Alabama, 826. Sulligent, 834. Henson Springs, 836. Beaverton, 841. Guin, 848. Stinson, 850. Guin, 851. Continuing to track that into parts of Alabama. So if you are traveling along Alabama Highway 17 right there, those winds really coming at you from the side. So that will make for hazardous travel on those north and southbound roads, especially if they are more covered with trees. Trees could fall over the roads. And as that sun is setting, if you do absolutely have to get out, be careful, because we could be seeing some trees falling over roads, as we have seen multiple reports of tree damage with this as well. Matt.
Chelsea, let's have a coverage discussion here for a moment. Let me ask you this question. There was a point in this where we felt we had 70-mile-per-hour winds, and there was 0.65. I would say we're probably borderline severe as opposed to widespread likely wind damage out of this. Would you agree?
I agree.
So here's what I think we should probably do, because we don't want to completely blow out programming here for maybes and possiblies, and I think we've kind of introduced ourselves more to this. I say we get a track here, we include Columbus, and if we start getting more reports in here of damage, we'll come back on the air. But I say we continue live on Facebook and on the WTVA weather and news apps, WTVA.com/live. Would you agree with that decision?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so here's a track on this new severe thunderstorm warning. It's been issued for the Columbus area just in the last couple moments here until 9:30. For you, we're looking at Columbus proper, Midtown there at about 8:50. Starkville will show 8:43, Mayhew 8:43, Caledonia 8:34. I say all those times are behind me there, so I'll put that right in the middle so you can see some of those other times. We're going to, if possible, and let me know behind the scenes when we're good to go, we're going to suspend coverage here on NBC on TV. If it looks like A, it's going to spin something up and we're looking at a tornado about to form, or B, if it looks like we're back up there 65, 70-mile-per-hour widespread wind damage, then I think we'll come back on the air. So that's my thinking at this point here. If things change, we'll let you know. Keep it here for the very latest information. From Chelsea Brown, Matt Lopon, WTVA 9 News.
This has been a severe weather update from the WTVA Severe Weather Authority.
Resources.